Hello, it is good to be here today. What we're going to do is a webinar on mastering your money and making the shifts that you need to make in your business to have the life and dream, the life of your dreams and the business of your dreams. Now, I am a CPA. And I have been working with small business owners for the last 40 years. And I can honestly say that I'm doing what I love and I love what I'm doing. And I'm making a difference in people's lives. It is exciting and thrilling to me when I sit down with an entrepreneur, an online business person, and help them see that they can actually create the business that they want to have, that it's feasible, it's doable, and it's financially within their reach to do it. And when people see and can touch and can see the vision for their business, then they are far more apt to be successful and more apt to reach the goals that they set. Most people don't set goals. They're not specific. They don't take the time to really outline what they want to do, be, or have in the world. And the top most successful people all set goals. And over the course of your life, those goals will change and grow. But the more consistent you are in focusing on your goals and what you want, then the more success you're going to have. Now, right now, times are very uncertain, and it is most important now that you're focused on your goals and where you want to be in the next 60, 90 days, the next 6 months, the next 12 months. When you get to December 31st, what do you want your business and your life to look like? People who take action right now and follow through and focus on their goals are going to come out the way they want to in December, as opposed to looking at the year in the past and saying that it didn't pan out, it didn't do what it was meant to do. So you've got to set goals and you've got to love what you're doing. I spent 20 years working for the government and I was miserable, I was unhappy, and I spent the last 6 or 7 years that I was there saying, when I turn 55, I'm going to take retirement and I am going to do what I want to do. And then when I turned 50, I went insane and I left my government job, which everyone thought was totally nuts because I hadn't fully funded my IPERS yet. And I bought a business. And I've set about creating a business that suits me and is sustainable and makes money for me and my employees, and all of our clients are supported and loved and appreciated. And it is the most ideal scenario that I could have ever created. And I love being where I am today. Now, I always like to start out with a little bit of humor. I like this guy. This is so exciting. I've never visited accounting before. There are too many people who really take that to heart. They've never visited accounting before. Well, I would like for you to visit accounting. Our books are balanced. 50% of our numbers are real. 50% of our numbers are made up. Now, I see a lot of this too. There is a lot of people that create numbers in their head, and then when they see what really happened on paper, they don't think it makes any sense, okay? And that's because 50% of their numbers are made up, and you need to track those numbers so that you can actually follow through and make decisions. This is Irv here. It says, this return looks mighty suspicious, Irv. This family spent less than they earned. Now, that also is a pretty common situation. And it may be a business, not just a family, but the purpose of being in business is to generate a profit, okay? Not to spend everything that you make and not to spend all your available resources, but to make a profit and to pay yourself. Like the sign says, it's all theirs. I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel this way. When you work for someone else, you get a paycheck and they withhold the money from your paycheck. When you're self-employed, when you're an entrepreneur, there's going to be this thing called self-employment tax, and there is going to be income tax, and the money's going to be in your bank account. And on April 15th, you're going to have to write a check that says, this is my taxes for last year's activity. Now, I would much rather that you pay tax, and meaning that you're successful, than not pay tax. But it is kind of a frightening number to say that 33% of your net profit is probably about what you're going to pay in taxes. My other favorite here, 10 out of 9 accountants can't count. You know what CPA stands for? CPA stands for can't possibly add. Now, a lot of people think that it stands for Certified Public Accountant. And I've had that title since 1981. And I will tell you that not all CPAs are created equal, okay? And you need to find the one that supports you in your business and helps you see where the blind spots are so that you can be more productive and you can make more money. Because that's what I want for you, is for you to make more money. This is what it looks like in Northwest Iowa. Isn't it beautiful? Cornfields, wheat fields. This is September, somewhere in that neighborhood. This is where I get to live. Now, I believe that your money tells a story. You control that story. You have thoughts and actions and images that you bring into your mind, and you can always change the story by simply making a decision. It is not your place to determine how things will come out. Your responsibility is to take every inspired action. You always get everything exactly when you need it, and the universe delights in making your dreams come true. You have to get out of the way of your limiting beliefs. When I look at a set of books, it tells me a story about you and your life and what's important to you and what your priorities are. Now, that may be something that you're proud of, and that may be something that you're ashamed of. But a lot of entrepreneurs feel a lot like this duck, and they are in the middle of an alligator attack. Now, frankly, I think the alligators are smiling, and I think the duck is being very cool because he's got his pina colada, he's got his tunes, he's got his sunglasses. So I think most entrepreneurs would really benefit from maintaining a sense of calm, even though they're up to their what in alligators, okay? So don't let current circumstances and fear drive your decisions. You want to be chill and relax and zen and make the best decisions for your business that you can make. You want to be the duck. I like to be the duck. Now, most entrepreneurs are looking for something that is pretty common, and it's called financial freedom. Now, in my definition of financial freedom, that means that you can make decisions on what to do next, personally, business-wise, without consideration of how much money it costs, okay? You need to understand that you can do anything you decide to do, anything that you want to do. you can decide to do it, and then the universe will work with you on making it actually happen, okay? But the first step is for you to make the decision. And I don't want you to make a decision from a point of lack or a point of fear. I want to make a decision from the point of what you want in the world. What is important to you? What are your priorities? Once you take that position, you'll be able to file your taxes and you'll be confident that you're paying the least tax possible. And there's nothing wrong with that. I encourage people, I don't like to send money to the government any more than anyone else does. So we want to pay the least amount of tax. You want to know if you can afford to invest money. You want to sleep well at night. Too many people wake up in the middle of the night going, holy crap, what am I going to do? I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. I have a lot of people that show up on April 15th and then they say, well, if I made $100,000 last year, where is it? Where did it go? I've got no idea because I don't have it anymore. So you need to be paying yourself. You need to have something to show for your work and time. And you need to know that your cash is going to cover next month's bills so that you can focus on what is really important, which is making money in your business. That's where you want to focus your attention. Now, the first thing that entrepreneurs and coaches and speakers and writers need is to know exactly what they want. This is really one of the most common problems in getting to your goals is you don't have a clear map of where you want to go. You need a vision. You've all heard of vision boards. Well, I take a little twist on a vision board. I take pictures of the things that I want and I need and I want to see grow, and I figure out how much that's going to cost me so that I have a vision of how much my life, the way I want to live it, is going to cost. I want a housekeeper. I want someone to cook meals so that I don't have to cook. I want someone to clean. I want someone to hold my hand and tell me everything is going to be okay. That's usually my husband. He does a pretty good job of that. We've been together 40 years and he has been there and done that and seen a lot. But the first shift is really to have clear goals and to know specifically what you want to have and what you need to have. Whatever you can imagine, you can achieve. It wouldn't come into your imagination. You wouldn't have a vision of it if it weren't a potential reality. So if you want something, let's just say it's to make $10,000 a month. If you want to make $10,000 a month, then you need to hold that vision in your mind and you need to focus on that and you need to make decisions in accordance with that goal. The second thing that you've got to do is you have got to take 100% responsibility for your choices. Now, what this means is we're going to sit down and look at our accounting records for 2019. And we're going to say, yay, I did this. This is what I did in 2019. Didn't I do good? And if those numbers don't look like you want them to look, you need to understand and you need to forgive yourself and you need to make new choices. But every expense on your profit and loss is something that you chose. You chose it. And you can choose differently in 2020. Now, I know for certain that 2020 is not going in the way that I had envisioned that it would go. But we can always start from here and say, what do we want from here? But you've got to understand the past and you've got to learn from the past and you've got to make new decisions. Now, each decision needs to be in the direction of your dreams. Does it take me closer to my dreams? Does it take me further away from my dreams? Now, a sailboat is almost always off course, and they constantly are adjusting and tacking and shifting. And your business is not very different from that. You are making choices in your business. You're taking action. You don't have to know how to get to the next step. You just need to take the next step. So if you had told me in 1980 all the things that have happened to me in my life, I'd have thought you were insane. If you'd have told me in 2008 that I was going to be in business for myself and I was going to be doing the business that I'd always dreamed of, I wouldn't have believed you in 2008. But in 2010, it was true. So you don't have to know how, you just need to focus on what you want specifically, and then you need to take action in that direction. Every day, no matter how small, you need to take action on those steps. Now, decisions in business, really the number one thing is it something that you want to do, be, or have? Will it take you closer to your goal? Is it in alignment with your values? Is it in integrity? Does it hurt anyone else? Everything is waiting on you to make a decision. If you don't make a decision, nothing is going to happen. If you don't take action, nothing is going to happen. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You are going to have all kinds of events and situations that occur in your life. And what really matters is your response to those events, because your response is going to determine the outcome and the results that you receive. And so you want to make sure that you're focusing on the outcome and you're making decisions that are in alignment with that outcome. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and she was saying, I'm trying to decide how to celebrate today. I've got two choices. One is to take myself out for Mexican food, and the other choice is to sit down and make a piece of jewelry. What do you think? Well, I know she's always on a diet. And so the question is, does going out and eating Mexican food take her closer to something that she wants to do, be, and have? Probably not. So what should she do? She should sit down and make the jewelry, okay? It needs to be something that's going to keep you on track. That's what you need to do next. Is it something you want to do, be, or have? Now, a lot of times people say, I decided and I tried and it didn't work out. And I will tell you that the universe doesn't quit. You quit. And if you quit, that's your responsibility. And it just means you ran out of ideas. So you need to get someone to knock some ideas around with and come up with alternatives. It may look differently than you think, but that doesn't mean it can't take you to your ultimate goal. You have to take action. If you don't take action, there is not going to be any results. It's going to be crickets, okay? And action needs to be in alignment with your goals. You need to be perfectly clear that the results you have obtained so far are because of the choices that you have made. You need to make committed decisions towards your goals. If you can imagine it, it's already in reality. You just have to let it happen. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be frustrating. It can be easy and fun and joyful. Now, there's a book that I love called Illusions by Richard Bach. And one of my favorite quotes in that book is, argue your limitations and they will be yours. Now, what that means is if you walk around saying, I can't do something, trust me, you can't do it. If you decide that you can't make more money, or you can't pay your bills, or you can't lose weight, then you will most certainly be accurate, okay? But if you decide to dream and you decide to have the life you want by December 31st of 2020, then you're going to be in a much different position. Now, I have to talk about the IRS because tax-driven decisions are never good business decisions. The first thing you want to decide is it going to make me money in my business? Is it going to create revenue for me? If it's going to create revenue, if it is going to generate business for me, and it's the kind of business that I want to have, then you do it. And you live your life in a way that is in alignment. And then you use your accounting records, your books, to file your tax return. Now, the simple truth is you're going to pay about 1/3 of your income in taxes. Good round number, 1/3 of your net profit. And that applies to sole proprietors, that applies to partnerships, applies to S corporations. The method you pay in and the forms you file may vary, but the bottom line result is most of us pay about 1/3 in taxes. You want your records to be complete and accurate, because the number one way that people overpay taxes is they don't have the records that they need to support the deductions that they're taking. And if they don't have the records to support their deductions, every $1,000 of expense that you come up with saves you $333 worth of taxes, more or less. You still spent the other $777, and that needs to be a smart decision. That needs to take you closer to your goals. And those records need to support what you file with the IRS. And they're not scary people, okay? They're not trying to get you. They're not trying to do anything to you. They're just doing their jobs, and they're probably very unhappy. And you are probably very fortunate to be in love with the business that you do. And so I'm going to encourage you to have a little compassion for the IRS agent, because they're not out to get you. They're just trying to survive. You've been there. You know what that feels like. And they probably are exactly in that position. You need, most importantly, to be grateful. There are so many things that are right in this world, and you have to be grateful for everything that is available to you. If you can pay your bills, if you can write checks and pay your bills, you are ahead of the vast majority of people in this country. Right now, it is a struggle, it is frustrating, and money seems scarce, but it doesn't have to be. You need to be grateful for everything that you do have in your life, because the reality is, when you say thank you for something, you're very apt to get more of it. Okay, so if you want to make more money, then say thank you for the money you've got. When you look at your purse, most of my clients are women, and most of my clients are, let's just say, middle-aged, somewhere in the middle, wherever that is. And I encourage them to take a look at their purse, because their purse is a reflection of how you adjust to life. I've got a mentor that says, how you do anything is how you do everything. Is your money neatly put in your purse, and do you know how much money there is in your purse? Is it kind of a cave where there are hundreds of things piled in there and you have to dig and sort and be challenged whenever you need to get something out of it? Or is it easy? Is it simple? It's a reflection of how you handle money. So I encourage you, first of all, to say thank you to the universe and make sure that you take good care of the money that you have and appreciate when you can pay bills and buy things that other people really can't. Now, that is really a fundamental process. You want to keep it simple, you want to be grateful, and you want to look around and see all the gifts that you have, which are abundant. Now, the beautiful thing about business records and taxes and all of the financial things is you don't have to do it alone. I talk to people every day that have tears and shame and guilt, and they don't want anyone else to know. And people tell me things that I don't think they ever tell anyone else in their life. Okay. And I know that money is a scary topic, but you don't have to do it alone. You shouldn't do it alone. If you get help, if you get someone to work with you to help you understand your history, to help you set realistic goals and create a business model that is financially profitable, if you make decisions with confidence about what you can afford and what you want to do, then those things all will be supported if you have someone to hold you accountable and to follow through on all of those things. And those are what your accountant needs to be doing for you. Your accountant should never yell at you. You should never feel like crap after you talk to your accountant. You should feel excited and inspired and ready to move on and do more in your business. You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do your own bookkeeping. Now, believe it or not, someone else can sort your receipts, and someone else can look at your receipts, and they can look at what you spend, and they can have a pretty good idea of what it is. We all know what Verizon is. We all know what AT&T is. You don't have to sort your own receipts. Now, that doesn't mean that whoever's doing your bookkeeping won't have questions, but you can answer a question on 5 or 6 items instead of trying to do it yourself. Most things really go south when people try to do something themselves that they're not really equipped to do. My favorite example of this is my husband tends to think he's an auto mechanic, and he's not an auto mechanic. But he will tear something apart, and it usually ends up costing us more to fix what he fixed than it would have if we'd have just taken it to the garage in the first place. So you don't have to do this alone. You need to have team. You need to have people on your side that you work with. You can have the dream. This is a cornfield in northwest Iowa, and this is my trusty Subaru. I love my Subaru. And this is what traffic looks like in northwest Iowa, okay? And I came to this turn on the corner, and I just pulled over and took a picture of the rainbow because I love that it goes end to end, and it's beautiful. And you have to stop and take a minute and say, you know, this is really a gift. You need a team. You need a bookkeeper. You need a attorney. You need support and assistance. You need someone to talk to. All successful athletes have a coach, and that coach is there to show them things that they can't see themselves. And when they do the things that the coach says to do, it improves their success rate more rapidly than if they tried to do it on their own. So you don't have to do it alone. You can have the team of your dreams, and it's way more fun when you have other people involved in the business. Now, the IRS will say that they are either independent contractors or they are employees. And if they're employees, you've got payroll taxes, and you've got quarterly reports, and you've got W-2s. If they're independent contractors, you need to get a W-9, and you need to send them 1099s at the end of the year. So you're going to have reporting requirements to your team for tax purposes, but it's part of doing business. And so I encourage you to not do it alone. I encourage you to do everything you can do one step at a time. And I encourage you to be the duck, okay? Because you can relax, you can have fun, you can enjoy your business. Is it something that you want to do, be, or have? Now, if I were this duck listening to the tunes and the pina colada, I would be a pretty happy camper. And so that is where I think you need to go. Now, you can get in touch with us at smashingnumbers.com. There is a link for a free initial consultation. There are links to the services that we provide. I'm more than happy to have a conversation and help you identify what you really need and help you make the plan to get it so that you are successful and you have everything in your dreams. So there you go. Thank you for hanging out. And if there's anything that I can do for you, I encourage you to make an appointment. Let's talk. You don't have to do it alone. Thank you.